Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Crow Country. In the last part we entered the third themed region of the theme park, the Ocean Kingdom, and now we're back in the Northwest Utility Corridor. It's a large wooden crate. I can hear something breathing in there. Nothing happened. And this wasn't here when we first entered this room. That's eerie. There's that number again. Huh. Well, now that we got the silver key, we can go open any silver key doors we've seen throughout the game, and that's going to be a majority of what this part is, as those are not only our way of progress, but also a lot of collecting we can do. Hello there. Excuse me, just going to shoot your crow right here. 10 remain. It's a radio. The sound is horribly distorted, probably because the aerial's been cut in half. Tolman's Records, March 21st, 1989. Guests are appearing almost every day now. We can't save them, they're too far gone. But I want to know where they've come from. I found a number marked in blood on the ground. 2106. It's not a code for any of our locks. It's not a code at all. It's a big metal tank. A piece of Tuesday, isolated for examination. Oh, hello. Sorry for barging in. I should introduce myself. I'm Mara Forrest. I'm looking for... I like the purple. What is that, dyed? Must be. Doesn't look like a wig. When you're finished talking about my hair, I think I might need your help. I'm looking for Edward Crow. Yeah, I bet you are. You must be Tolman. I must be. What was it Marvin said? You were the root excavation guy? Correct. What's root excavation? No idea. You know, you're not being very helpful. Correct. The park's closed. Duh, I know. So go home. I can't go home. Sure you could. Just get in your little car and drive away. I'm sure that guy you saved would appreciate it. Arthur? You know about him? At least he had the good sense to get injured once and give up. Tolman, what are the monsters? The monsters? Don't pretend like you don't know what I'm talking about. No, it's just... Trust me, Mara. You don't want to know. Can I turn on the elevators from in here? The elevators are broken. No, they're not. They're just pretending to be broken. So where's the switch? Let's see if you can work it out on your own. Fine. You don't feel like helping me find the elevator switch? I do not. Right. Well, let's see what we can find out. We got a panel here with a music note that's connected to a part of the wall that says Crow Country Elevator Power Grid. All the lights are red, so all the elevators are off. We got a piano here which plays music, but what do we got over here? 1350, 1912, 1937, 1945. It's just showing static. There are 4 VHS tapes resting on top. 1350, Plague. That's the same date as over there, so let's go take a look. A Litany in Time of Plague by Thomas Nash. Rich men trust not in wealth. Gold cannot buy you health. Physic himself must fade. All things to end are made. The plague full swift goes by. I am sick. I must die. Alright, next up we got 1912, The Titanic.
How easily man's grandest ambitions are undone. The iceberg was first spotted on the cold, moonless night that was April 14th, 1912. They say it could have been avoided, were it not for man's inclination for hubris, panic, and blunder.
Okay, next up, 1937, the Hindenburg.
A small fire broke out on the port side just ahead of the port fin. One witness on the starboard side reported another fire behind the rudder.
Alright, and finally, 1945, Hiroshima.
Look up as you are passed over by the heavy shadow of the B-29 bomber. But in an instant, it is lighter. It has released 10,000 pounds of cargo.
Oh, those are all horrific events that we just heard about, but if you're paying attention while the videos were playing, occasionally letters would face on screen. Going in order of the dates listed on the left in the calendars, it spells out the word face. Doing that opens that, and now we have a lever that can turn on the power. All lights are green. I solved your stupid puzzle. Be honest. You loved it. Yeah, I did. It is one of my favorite puzzles from my first playthrough. Mara, hold up. What is it? Don't go down there. You'll regret it. So be it. We gotta find Edward Crow. It's our job. Oh, that was... Huh. That's another 2106 written down. Oh, hi, second mini-boss. The mini-bosses, by and large, only have the same attacks that the main enemies have, in which case they just kind of try to run at you and slap you. Which, again, makes them very open to grenades. Usually 2 grenades is enough to kill any of them. But worth noting, that specific mini-boss will only show up, I believe, if you opened up the gate at the front of that box earlier, and then came back into the room. Unless you're playing a Murder of Crows mode, in which case I think it just spawns after a certain amount of visits to that room to begin with. So now that we have the silver key, we can open the keyhole here in the arcade and power on the machines. Now, we already know from a note in this very room, as well as the poster in the back hall of the staff lounge that we saw at the end of the last part, that we need to set the scores on the main machines here to something to get something. But you can also play basketball like it's Final Fantasy VII. You can mess around with the air hockey thing. You can get more hints and all that. And you can just play the minigames themselves if you want a little distraction. But we want to play Mermaid Quiz in specific right now because there's also an achievement tied to this. Which area of the tongue is used for tasting sweet things? That would be the tip. Now, if you were thinking, wait, that doesn't sound right, that was disproven. What is the approximate population of the Earth? Well, remember, this game takes place in 1990, and at that point, the population was 5 billion. All the answers for these are based in information as it was in 1990. How many planets are there in the solar system? Pluto will always be one in my goddamn heart, so it's 9. What caused the extinction of the dinosaurs? This is going to be volcanic eruptions, as I believe there's been some discourse historically about it being that versus the meteorite extinction theories. What's the tallest building in the world? Back in 1990, that was the Sears Tower. What kind of foods should you eat the most of each day? According to the old food pyramid that's been pretty much found inaccurate, that should be bread, cereals, or pastas. Get your grains and carbs in. How many countries are there in Europe? Nowadays, there's around 45, I believe, but as of 1990, some of them hadn't become their own places yet, plus East and West Germany were still split, so there would be about 34. And our final question, what is the highest grossing film of all time? In 1990, that was still E.T. At this point, question 9, they start looping, but the important thing is, in order to get an achievement from Mermaid's Quiz, you need to get 5 answers right in a row. So now we need to turn the computer back on and off again to reset the scores, and now we want to do the thing the note in here as well as the poster over in the staff hall talked about. We want to make the Mermaid Quizzes score one thing, then double that score with Dolphin Dash. Dolphin Dash is just jumping with the dolphin to hit the balloons, but not the spike balls. Get your score to 2, and then you're done here. You can just press the exit button to leave it. Next up, we want to make the boat score double that of the dolphin. The speedboat minigame is just running down 3 lanes of water, grab the stars that you see, and avoid the spike bombs. And now we just need to get the gun game score double that of the boat game. This one in particular, Shark Shooter, I believe the way this works, from what I've heard speedrunners talk about, is that you can get upwards of 2 skulls that you're not meant to shoot between any given fish. So just take your time, make sure you're actually shooting a fish and not one of the skulls, otherwise you have to start all over again. Thankfully, because you're going for such low scores, your time lost if you mess up isn't that bad. I love this little section, it's really cute. The lighting, I really love it. Reminds me a lot of the Golden Saucer from the original F7 during its little arcade section you can visit. And from my sparse experience with real-life arcades, it really takes me back to seeing them when I was a kid. I didn't go to too many because it was largely just Chuck E. Cheese's and the rare, like, one in a bowling alley. For doing that, though, we get a data disk here in the change machine. Notably, they do also mark which scores you have on top of the machine. So, due to this, 2 destinations that are now back on our roadmap are we want to head back to the train room over in the main hall, as well as the dungeon over in Haunted Hilltop to use that. As we know, those are the 2 places we can. Don't trust that healing item right there. Remember how there was a note saying there's explosives that will explode if you touch them? Largely in the game, they are disguised as items that you can pick up. But you can tell a difference. Every single item that's fake and is actually a bomb is miscolored in some way. For instance, the handgun ammo that's a bomb is purple. The red cross, although I think it's technically a green cross, on the large med kits is like purple instead. Keep your eye out and just take a good look at the item before you pick it up if it's something that wasn't there before, as more often than not, you really shouldn't trust it. So while we're here in the main hall once again, we're also going to go over here. We can use the silver key on this door to get into the only room here in the main hall we actually haven't entered yet. Welcome to the souvenir shop. Just be careful because there's usually a trap in here in some form on top of 2 humanoid enemies as well as some of the little puddles. Thankfully at this point though, because I have the powered up handgun, most enemies will die pretty quickly, even if there's some of the larger ones. It's really just the really big hulking guys, the lumbers, that will take a good amount of ammo still, I believe. Now, we're in here for 2 notable reasons, because there is 2 puzzles in here. Once I make sure the coast is clear, let's take a look around. Namely, we want to go behind the counter and check out the register and see what we can find back here. First off, we got a refrigerator here. There's something inside. It's a mushroom. I'm a little mushroom boy. I'll use my mushroom magic to grant you a wish. Tell me, what is it that you wish? What's that? You want to improve the capacity of your shotgun? Lease it out, I guess. Wish granted. Yes, please. I haven't used the shotgun much at this point yet, but trust me, it's really good. It's got a really good spread in this, too. Crystal Crow right there. It's a handwritten letter. Gifts for Natalie. 1. Haunted Hilltop stuffed toy. 2. Classic Crow Country rubber doll. 3. Fairy Tale Town action figure. Thanks, let me know the total. I'll pay you back. So another puzzle in here is we need to take a look at all the prices for the items around the store until we find those specific items. We then need to add up their prices to get a passcode we need to use over on the cash register right there. There's enough items in here where finding it can sometimes just be a matter of checking the right item at the right time, because there are a lot right next to each other. But ultimately, it's pretty easy, and I do love how this place is laid out. It feels really familiar from my own experiences. Hey, they even have some of those really shitty, like, license plates. Rack of nameplates. Eileen, Alana, Emily. None. Typical. I eventually just go and input the password because I haven't memorized, but I remember on my first playthrough, I was looking for the one specific item I was missing here for like 2 or 3 minutes, just because it was small enough that it took me a minute to find it. Helps that some of the crows look pretty similar. At the end of the day, though, the price of the 3 items we found on that note adds up to $19.75, so put in $19.75, and the cash register will open, revealing our reward for this puzzle. And trust me, you're gonna want yourself a Magnum. Very sparse ammo, but very powerful. Save it for mini-bosses or the like, as you really shouldn't waste the ammo. Also, we can now unlock this door just to have a way around this area a little more easily in the case you want to cut through the souvenir shop for one reason or another. Gift shop, that's the word, not souvenir shop. Next up, let's head in here to the computer and use the data disk on it. Upon doing so, we'll actually gain access, and we'll be given a very specific screen. Engine, first car, second car, caboose, as well as a X and the letters A, B, C, D. Why does that matter? There's a sign. Orion's Odyssey, 1935. Our grandest steam engine, elegantly combining all 4 design styles. During the war, it was used by the military to carry artillery. If you were looking on the computer a moment ago, Orion's Odyssey was written on the far left side. The Earl of Edgecombe, 1934. A fine steam engine, beautifully combining the Arabella and Bernadette styles. The puzzle here is to figure out which of the 4 colors on the Orion's Odyssey are which style and input them into the computer. For instance, the Earl of Edgecombe has colors A and B, and that was yellow and orange. The Duke of Farnham, 1927. A handsome steam engine, stylishly combining the Arabella and Delilah design styles. So both of these trains we can activate to have pass us have the A color on it. And looking at this one as it passes by, it's orange and blue. So orange in this case is A. So that means the second car on the Orion's Odyssey is A. Meanwhile, the colors that each of those examples had, yellow was only on the first one, so that will be Bernadetta, so that's B. Delilah was only on the second train, so that's blue. And thus, we're left to remain that green in this case is going to be Style C, whatever its name may be. Doing so opens up the blue car on the Orion's Odyssey and gives us our optional weapon, the flamethrower. I didn't use this too much in my first playthrough because I was scared about how scarce its ammo was because it uses the gasoline we also used in the construction site puzzle. But trust me, it's decently powerful, but you do want to save some ammo as there's 2 specific uses you can use for it that are completely optional. While we're here though, we want to actually head back out to the parking lot. That purple med pack is a bomb, don't trust it. We're heading back to the parking lot for two reasons. One, I want to talk to Arthur again, but also it's time we investigate the other car that's here in the parking lot. Arthur, did a police officer come by here? Yeah, he was on a bike. Did you talk to him? Yeah, a little bit. I didn't investigate this earlier, but if you take a look here, Edward Crow's car is here and it has a silver key lock, so we can open up his trunk now. And in it is a shoebox. To Natalie, happy 17th, Dad. The running shoes. It's a pair of running shoes. They're my size, too. This is one of my favorite pickups in the game because it drastically increases Mara's running speed to the point where you honestly move a little too fast in some cases, as it's very easy to just walk into some gas traps or things like that while you have these on. With that said, they're so useful for evading enemies, I'm keeping these on the rest of the LP. I believe one of the developers has stated they prefer Mara's design without these on because they're a little bright compared to the rest of her design, but I don't care. The speed is very nice. Now that we have the flamethrower, though, we can take care of one of its two optional uses right now. If you think back, we've seen a couple of notes talking about the storage room door here in Ocean Kingdom. Now that we have the flamethrower, we can light that door completely on fire and burn it. Welcome to the storage room. You might notice that enemy shoot him, otherwise he does get a cheap shot on you as you try to pass by him, and I don't think it's avoidable unless you shoot him right there. So in here, we got a lot of items stored on the shelves outright that are nice to get. We also got another bird over here like the one at Haunted Hilltop. This one like the one outside the Haunted Manor. Although this one seems to hoot a few more times in a row. In fact, it hoots exactly 8 times. So if we take in mind what the original owl was like over in Haunted Hilltop, that means we should go ring that bell again. I'm a little mushroom boy. I'll use my mushroom magic to grant you a wish. Tell me, what is it you wish? What's that? You want to improve your Magnum revolver? To each their own, I guess. Wish granted. And the Magnum's power has been increased. But also we got this scale over here. The dial measures in ounces, but the needle won't stay still. There's a metal octopus sitting in the tray. And down here there's a keypad. And here we want to input 1825. Why? Because that was the way that the octopus talked about in the informational video back in the submarine save room. And behind that lies our next secret, a box of Magnum ammo. That's probably the secret that took me the longest to find out on my first playthrough, as I just didn't know you could investigate the TV screen in the submarine to get info about the species you just shot at. So for right now, our business in Ocean Kingdom is concluded, and we want to head back to Haunted Hilltop so we can go raid the dungeon for whatever the data disk will get us there. This is probably one of my favorite puzzles in the game, as, I'm not going to say simple as it is, as easy to figure out as it is. Which generally is honestly kind of the way this game's style rolls. Most of the puzzles are pretty easy to find out, but they're just so satisfyingly well done in how you get the information that it doesn't really register as too easy, if that makes sense. So this specific computer, when we use the data disk on it, gives us a screen labeled prisoner with legs, arms, heads, and eyes numbered 0 to 4. Think about the prisoners that are around us, like the mermaid cage to our left where the acid bottle we've read about is. Mermaids have 0 legs, 2 arms, 1 head, and 2 eyes. And putting that match in, the door will open and we can grab ourselves that acid bottle finally. Now we want to do this for all of the other doors in here just to get as much of a stock up as we can, although the wolf room isn't exactly the most worth it sometimes depending on what's actually generated in that glass bottle. For me, I believe it's some handgun ammo, which hey, I'll take the extra of. To open the wolf cage, you need 4 legs, no arms, 1 head, and 2 eyes. Next up, we're going after, I believe, the serpent room? Or is it the Cyclops I go for next, actually? Let's see. Alright, we're going for the Cyclops. 2 legs, 2 arms, 1 head, 1 eye. What's in that room, I believe, is a small med pack and a box of shotgun shells. So if you're using your shotgun or being just a little more liberal with your use of ammunition, that's nice to pick up. And finally, for the serpent cage, they have no legs, no arms, 1 head, 2 eyes. And in here is not only the Crystal Crow for this room, but also some more handgun ammo, which, hey, I'll take. But let's keep in mind, I think around where Pike's office was, we found a note that mentioned that there were 5 rooms now electronically locked. These 4 prison cells here, as well as the Ophelia thing back in the crypt. And it notes that she was human. So if you input 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 head, 2 eyes, we can now head over to the crypt, and that lock will also be open and we can do things over there. Also, if it's not clear by now, I use the Southeast Utility Corridor a lot in this game, not only as a general save point, but as a way to get around Haunted Hilltop pretty safely, as it allows me to bypass most of the enemies in the main hall, as enemies basically just never spawn in here. Plus, it gives me a nice shortcut over to the crypt. So now we can go take a look at this coffin. Lid looks heavy. Maybe I shouldn't. Oh. There's a body. It's a beautiful woman. She can't possibly be real. It's an incredibly realistic wax figure. I should leave it alone. There's a drawer built into the coffin. Let's open it. There's an ID card in here. Ophelia Pike, Atlanta Westview Hospital. Nurse ID number 0629681. First Aid Handbook, 1987. And a small book. There's some good information in here. I should be able to put it to good use. And this improves the efficiency of your med kits, so now they're a lot more powerful. That's really useful if you're taking a lot of hits along the way. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 6, now that we've seemingly powered on the elevators through Tolman's office, I'd say it's finally time we go check out that underground area we've heard so much about thus far. See you guys then!